Cool. So started doing SPVs to support my favorite founders. A lot of them are fintech oriented, but we've done AI, we've done robotics. We've gone outside the thesis as well. Did about 18 SPVs, deployed around 15 million, and now am starting up Feld Ventures Fund 1, which I'm super excited about.
All right, this is another episode of the Form Your Own Pack podcast from Founders Pack. My guest today is Shane Feldberg from Feld Ventures. How are you doing, Shane?
Doing great. How you doing?
I am excited to talk to you, another fellow Canadian that's crushing it. So I'm excited to find out what you're working on. For people that don't know, because I do, who is Shane and what is Feld Ventures?
Yeah, so I guess my story starts when I joined an early stage startup called Clear Banq, now called Clearco. Did a bunch of different roles there. Got to speak to like probably 6,000 founders in my time there, which looking back was probably a once in a lifetime networking opportunity. We did a pretty large secondary round at a $2.5 billion valuation. And then, I realized how much I love supporting founders. We were giving debt to founders at the time. And I was like, this guy's going to be super successful. Like, I want to put equity in, and I didn't have an equity vehicle. So started doing SPVs to support my favorite founders. A lot of them are fintech oriented, but we've done AI, we've done robotics. We've gone outside the thesis as well. Did about 18 SPVs, deployed around 15 million, and now am starting up Feld Ventures Fund 1, which I'm super excited about.
I love it. So when you say your thesis, like, what are you looking for in companies, and are there any sectors you're excited about?
Yeah, when I was doing the SPVs, it was more agnostic, but I realized, the advantages of being a specialist, especially as a fund manager. So what I focused on is what I'm calling covert fintech. Help build a fintech unicorn, really understand fintech. And I see fintech as a strategic pillar in a business as opposed to a category. So we're looking at companies that, might not seem like they're fintech, but once you take a deeper look, they are. And then on the other side of the coin, we're looking at companies that can be like covert fintech enablers, so like helping companies use fintech in their business. So those are the two areas that I really want to focus on with this fund.
So I guess for people that maybe, they hear the word fintech, and I'm sure there's different parts of that. It's obviously financial technology, but what does that actually mean? Is it the picks and shovels, the software for fintech? Is it people that have different debt vehicles or other investment? Like, what are you classifying fintech as, or is there a couple areas?
I feel like for me, my definition is probably different than other people's, to be honest. Okay. Like for me, fintech is a strategy, and I think it involves monetizing your data in a way that empowers your customer. And what it usually ends up happening is it spins up into different like financial tools, like it's access to debt products, access to payment processors, access to lending, asset management, insurance. These are products that tend to make your customers' lives easier. Give you a random example. Let's say you run a CRM for dentists, right? You can do a lot of things when all your customer base have similar interests. You could become a GPO, group purchasing organization, help them purchase their X-ray machines. They lack the buying power of enterprises. So when you group all these purchases together, you get some discounts, and then you're effectively a two-sided marketplace, and you can monetize it on both ends, right? Like, I see banks and I see D2C lending as a precarious space right now. I think MCAs, can be a high cost of capital, and I think the cash crunch to run a D2C brand can be precarious. And I see like different e-com SaaS companies spinning up debt products to help them out. So for me, I see it as a way to empower your customer with financial tools to make their business easier, to give it like a one-liner.
That makes total sense. And I think we've had, a number of fintech founders that we've talked to on the podcast. Some of them have a very, to your point, which makes sense, is a vertical specific financial app for women or for this type of entrepreneur in this vertical. So that makes sense. And then it leads to other products like that they would need, whether it's lending or management, investing. That makes sense. Okay, I think I understand.
Yeah.
It. That's the most
Yeah. Well, I think it's really powerful when your customer base are all very similar and like you get to know these customers, get to know what they care about, and you spin up products that help all of them run their day-to-day operations. Like it's just a no-brainer. That's why I'm focusing on either companies that can employ these technologies or companies that can give them to like a SaaS company and help them become more fintech oriented.
That makes total sense. Is there any particular company or sector that you're really, really excited about?
I mean, in fintech or more generally?
You tell me.
One company I'm really excited about that actually isn't fintech oriented, but one that we broke our thesis to get into is a company called Victara.
Okay.
Chat GPT is like the new cool thing nowadays. I mean, I use it every day. I think it's already become an integral part of everyone's business, but that's like generative AI, right?
Yep.
It's like these like large language models and use like generating human like language. You give it information, it gives you back like really good information. What Victara is it's neural search. So using these neural networks and LLMs for search. So like, well, Chat GPT is focused on generating language that's helpful to whatever you're working on. You know, to simplify it, Victara is focused on finding facts. So like B2B search for text is what they're focusing on right now, which might not seem like a big market opportunity, but you know, imagine you could go on Slack or Reddit, which is like a massive like repository of like super helpful information, and you could ask it a question. And the search bar truly understood the essence of what you're asking for across languages and pulled that data out for you automatically.
Oh, wow.
And fact checked it. So I think it's a massive opportunity.
It is.
You know,
that's totally crazy, especially for developers. Like, you know, we have one project that we're part of, which is ops.ai. And it's almost like that could be something you develop to, because it saves you building your own thing that understands what the person's asking for. So instead of sticking a traditional interface, ask it a question and it gives you the results. Like, give me a list of companies that are X or a list of investors that are X, and then you can search.
100%.
Yeah,
like I was thinking chatbots too. Like I cannot stand talking to chatbots. The first thing I say is let me talk to a person. But that's because the chatbots aren't helpful, because they use like these logic branching where it's like, if they say yes, go here, no. But imagine the chatbot understood the essence of what you're asking and had access to the answer for you that could solve it. So I think it's a complete game changer. And I think Chat GPT and what OpenAI is doing is going to kind of bring them into the limelight.
That makes total sense. All right. If you had only one piece of advice for founders out there, what would that advice be?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I would say for me, like I founded a couple companies, and at least at the beginning, I would always get like analysis paralysis when you plan really far ahead. And what I found helps me build companies, helps me build my venture fund, is just kind of focusing on like the current spot you're in and like maybe one step ahead. You're focusing too far in the future. It's kind of anxiety inducing and stressful. You know, if you really need to get a fundraise done, focus on the fundraise. You know, if you can achieve, 1 to 3 big things, a day, that's a win. So don't overthink, 15 steps ahead of what you're trying to plan in your business, and just kind of focus on that next step. That's really helped me. Just because, I think it can be really chaotic, and I think you can worry about so many things as a founder of like, the what ifs, what could go wrong. That's what I recommend.
That is very good advice, I think, actually. Like, that's one of the, like, we evangelize like that business plans are junk, and that you should do a 2-day startup where you rapidly prototype and go talk to real customers. We're like, why are you doing a business plan? Go find out, is this a real business or not?
So you skip the business plan and you go right to just talk. You like create a product and then you go talk to your customers.
Correct.
This is helpful. Yeah.
So part of our methodology, and we've been asked to do accelerators. We might, but we have we'll call it a curriculum or a framework that says, be able to make a 1-minute pitch on what the problem you're solving is and how you're going to solve it and what you need. Rapidly prototype something that looks like the thing, or build it, the first version, quickly, like in 2 days. And at the same time, go talk to the people you are claiming are the customers that will buy it and find out if they'll give you a nominal amount of money.
It reminds me of like a hackathon, but for like CEOs instead of devs.
Exactly.
I like that.
And then that tells you at the end, okay, we have team. Do we have feedback? Do we have some ugly ass product or something that looks like the product? Is this worth a 6-week accelerator? Is it worth a 90-day accelerator? And at the end of that, do you have a business or not?
I like that. And at the end, you bring on like check writers, try to bring the idea to life.
There you go. Your pitch
accelerator model.
Like, here's the progress, here's the product, will you invest? If that's what they want to do, or you got customers, or both.
Yeah. It's basically the accelerator model, except you're not wasting as much time. Correct.
Yeah. It's just aggressive and go for it, because you're going to find out more from that than, to your point, navel gazing. What has the role of partnerships or community been in your success so far, Shane?
Yeah. I mean, going back to the Clear Banq days, like, I saw the power of partnerships. $0 CAC is nice. We were giving loans, or we were giving advances to D2C brands. Like, PPC is really expensive. We would partner with agencies who had these D2C brands, or partner with like e-com SaaS companies, and we'd give them some type of referral fee on the capital that they help produce. So I've been trying to translate that into venture, and to be honest, I haven't perfected it yet. I think I have a lot to learn on that end. But my LPs have been a huge channel for me. Like, if my portfolio company needs an introduction, and I don't have it, I'll blast out an email to my LPs. Does anyone have connections to these companies? Amazon Music. Someone wanted a connection to Amazon Music. I didn't have it. I sent it to my LPs and SPB, and 3 people replied with intros. So using the LPs as a channel has been huge for me. And also, like, putting my founders in touch with each other. We did an in-person event. We had like 250 people come. A bunch of our founders came. And they're like, transactions have come out of it, partnerships have come out of it. So, I think it's important for VCs not to silo their companies. I think there's magic to be made when you put people in the same room. Those are the 2 things that have worked for me, but I'm always looking to learn more. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, we'd like to invite you. I want to make sure that I send you an invite to our intros product. So basically, Intros by Founders Pack is weekly automated introductions between founders and investors. So every Monday you get an invite to your inbox, and then you say I'm in or not. And then it makes a match based upon what you're looking for and what they're looking for. And then you schedule time. And what we say is we want founders to talk to other founders or investors if they participate, and talk about how do you share technology, talent, data, and relationships. Those are the types of conversations that you're talking about. And even your founders, if they would like to be in, we should definitely invite them to intros to try it out, because I think it's very lonely starting a company and you don't get good feedback. And sometimes you make up stories, but having that peer group that's in the same boat is really helpful. So hopefully that's helpful. It seems like that's part of your success. So that's amazing to hear.
Yeah, no, intro seems like a really interesting product, especially if like there's a reasoning behind the intro. Like, the reason we made this intro is because you're both doing XYZ and interested in fintech and covert fintech and lending. Like, people who like have those similar interests and are spending every day of their life trying to like propel that industry. It makes sense for them to know each other. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of neat because it's AI matched, but it's like your preferences. What do I do? What am I looking for? And then just matching them up with someone else's. So that's exactly what it is. That's great. Who is a good contact for you, and how do people get in touch with you?
You can email me. I respond to cold emails. I respond to Twitter. Shane at feldventures.com. My Twitter's at Shane Felds, Felds. Yeah, just DM me on Twitter. It's actually probably even easier. I'll definitely reply right away. I always check my message requests. DMs are open. Yeah, always looking to meet potential partners for Portcos. I'm the type of guy who hops on sales calls for my SaaS companies. So
beautiful.
Always, getting my hands dirty. Love getting my hands dirty.
Habits are hard to break, Shane.
I love operating. That's part of why I'm a VC. I can help 20 companies instead of just one. It's like ADD operations. You get to focus on one company, then a different one, then a different one.
You get the best part.
Exactly.
Oh, you have a sales call. Let me get on that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah. All right. So I want to thank you for your time today. I've really enjoyed it. And hopefully this is a good opportunity for everyone to learn a little bit about Feld and for you to meet some good people. The final thing is, when we meet interesting people on the Founders Pack, Form Your Own Pack podcast, we like to meet other people that you think are would be a great future guest. We typically talk to, founders or investors in scalable ventures. Usually most of them are raising money or have raised money or have some traction. So who would you, Shane, like to nominate as a future guest?
I'd like to nominate Amr Awadallah, the founder of Vectara. He's a legend, also a mentor of mine. He was a CTO and founder of Cloudera, which had a $5.5 billion exit. He's just like a great guy. He's so smart in AI. Every time I speak to him, I learn so much. Also been a huge mentor to me in my career. So
that is amazing. Okay,
I'll introduce you to him.
That would be great.
I'll introduce you to him. You should talk to him more about neural search. It's really interesting.
I selfishly actually really want to talk to him about that. So we'll have two conversations, one in the podcast and then a longer one, hopefully a little bit about that. Yeah. Shane, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast, and we look forward to following your journey.
Thank you, brother. You too.